Hey, drifting is fun. Indoor drifting is fun too. These are all relatively similarly priced. Give or take on that though, because sales go up and down, and believe it or not, I'm gonna use this entire garage to make a drift track in here. We're gonna be able to compare 4 of probably the best, cheapest drift cars that are out there. That doesn't sound good. Did I mention there was a size difference? Metal body. Okay, so out of all 4 of these, this is the only 2-wheel drive one. So it may actually end up being more fun because it's more of a challenge. Once this gets nailed, oh, and it rolls so smooth. Whoa. What? There's an axle. Seriously? Well, that's why it was rolling so smooth. Nothing's broken or out of place. What in the world is going on? There's a spring stuck to the motor. You know, magnetricity. Where is that supposed to go? Figured it out. This differential is actually just a big old tunnel all the way through. And that spring sits between the 2 axles. Anyway, it's back together. It should be fine. Got all the nice scaly bits on there. Okie dokie. Skip forward about 6 days, then we'll go right back. So real quick, I'm going to show you a few details on each one. That way we can get right to the action, and afterwards, I'll share the things that I liked and the things I didn't like and the problems that I had. All 4 of these are super fun. And which one you want's gonna depend on, well, what you want to do with it and where you're going to drive it at. This dude here, this is the Nissan Skyline R34. You can also get it in a Porsche, the Unicorn Mustang, and a BMW. Gyro for stability. You can save money and go without that. In fact, all of these have gyros. This one also has probably the best feeling transmitter of all of them. You can turn the lights on and off. The rears look pretty good, but the fronts aren't all that bright. Turn up and down the speed, change the gyro gain, and the steering trim. All on this tiny yet very ergonomic little transmitter. Plus, this little feller comes with cones. This dude here you can get in the black awesome color you see here, or red. It's kind of an apocalyptic looking muscle car. Corvette vibes in the rear, Camaro-ish vibes in the front. It's super impressive too. Actually, funny enough, this is the only car that I had 0 issues with. This one doesn't have too bad of a transmitter either. It's got throttle dual rate, light controls, and steering trim on it. No gyro adjustment, though it's pretty well dialed in. Bright lights front and rear. This is the only rear wheel drive one. This was absolutely the most challenging. However, because of that challenge, it was really fun. Definitely a bit more of a learning curve. Low speed and a high speed, short steering and a long steering throw. Look how far that thing turns. That's nuts. And lights. Steering trim, and gyro gain. If you're not familiar, they have a ton of different options. The HBX here has different body options as well. What's that, an Audi? And you can also get it in the Hunestang. It's gonna require the most amount of space though. The gyro actually quit working on this one, yet even with that, it was still awesome. Low and high speed, that's just a steering reverse switch. Steering trim. Lights aren't too bad on this thing, actually looks pretty mean. You got headlights and front side markers. The auxiliary button here turns off those side marker lights if you want. I am ready for some actual action.
Oh yeah!
This is not a friendly track, don't be fooled. There are dangerous things at every corner. Since this one and this one come with the rubber tires installed, I'm just gonna do a quick even with these rubber tires, it drifts okay. That's a quick servo. This is a cool looking car. Yeah, look at that with rubber tires, man. This one's gonna be really sick. As far as rubber tires go, this one easily takes the cake. Now, these tires just pull right off, and the new ones push right on. All right, now these first 2 smaller cars, they took a little bit of practice. After a couple rounds of battery on these first 2, I was practically an expert. Not really, but it gets better every time. All right, now some 6 shots on each car, and then an uncut round for each one. You have the choice of 2 different wheels with this car, the ones that come on it, or you can swap over with these guys. I'm gonna stick with the same wheels. They look a lot better, I think. Shortcut. Oh! Oh! We got spiked! This thing is awesome. That's a lot. That's a lot of gyro, but we're probably gonna need it. It's 2-wheel drive.
Real drive. real drive drifter.
Now this dude took the most amount of practice, but once you get it, man, you won't want to put it down. You won't want to stop. It is good at doing this. This dude ended up being a little too big for the track, so instead of really showing you much on that, I'm gonna show you how well it operates outside, and then I'm gonna change the track around and show you how you can still use it indoors, because it just needs more space. So I'm just gonna do one quick take around the entire track of each car. We are now on day 4, so a good amount of practice. And we've built up quite the audience. She is definitely gonna stay there the entire time. Uh-oh, did you kick something? Say, oh yeah!
Oh yeah!
You like that? Oh! Oh, avoided the audience member. Oh, last second spin out. Boom. All right, did a little bit of rearrangement for the bigger car. Oh, nope, that was fast. But it's still, oh, rail slide. Not 50-50, I mean. That was extremely fun. This video took forever to make because I recorded way too much because I just couldn't stop. Max and I both had so much fun doing this. I had to keep all my lawn equipment outside for 4 nights. Well, 3 nights, 4 days, but totally worth it. Every single one of these were awesome. But there are pros and cons to all of them, so I'm gonna make this as quick as I can. This dude here, of course, it's the smallest. Also, though, my favorite transmitter out of the bunch. Mainly just because it feels the most ergonomic and easiest to use. Yes, this dude and this dude, to those who are wondering, are absolutely excellent indoors. This was hardwood floor, obviously, but I would imagine they're gonna do really well on pretty much any smooth surface. This one would work indoors too because you don't need a ton of space, but I'd probably be a little more worried about scratching the floor. And if you live in a mansion, you could probably use that. The Jaya Bailey has an onboard charging port. You got an itty bitty amount of front suspension, no suspension in the rear. Worked excellently on this somewhat roughish troweled concrete, but as smooth a surface as you can find is gonna be the best for this one. Now don't get me wrong, it is smooth, but it could be smoother. You could feel some of that drifting resistance on this, but not really on this one. It's got a lot of power for its size. It's got excellent responsiveness, though I had no issues with responsiveness from any of them. It has a quick release body to access the battery, which is actually a LiPo. The others are all lithium ion. A good size motor for the size of the car. The motor in this one is practically the size of a pipe cleaner. Little bit of front suspension, little bit of rear suspension. That rear wheel drive is definitely a challenge, but like I said, when you get it, that extra challenge is fun. It just makes it harder, and in a good way. Front suspension, rear suspension, but the suspension is just these little torsion bar things. Seems like I'm getting a little bit of a grinding noise from the gears. However, most likely unlike these two, unless they become extremely popular, you can get parts for these, and you can get parts for these. At least most parts. I didn't look up all of them, but HBX is good about that, and it seems like there's quite a few suppliers that carry parts for the LDRCs. They have upgraded options too. Now, if I were to give you my recommendation on which one of these are going to be the most durable and last the longest, well, it's probably going to go in this order. Most durable to least durable. HBX is an extremely durable budget brand. They make all kinds of awesome cars. This guy, though, I couldn't get the gyro to work at all. But as you could tell, I was still able to control it. Definitely would have been better if it had worked, though. Real coilover shocks, though no, they of course are not oil-filled. Good sized brush motor with a heatsink. The Cam Tom had some pretty good sound effects with the tires, too. But I love the way that this one sounds when it's sliding. It almost sounds like real tires. These two here are probably the most versatile. They'll work perfectly fine in big areas and small areas. Now, a little bit of dust and itty bitty little pebbles somehow made its way into the rear gear assembly of this. It's all fully covered, but it's an open differential design, and it caused the car to bind up a little bit, so I had to open it up, which is not a major task, and scrape little bits of debris out from between the gear teeth. Even after sweeping, it's a dusty floor, so I'm not surprised. Check the links to these down in the description. Like this video for me, I appreciate that so much. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, and don't forget that you are awesome.